2030. It has officially been 10 years since the Oakland A's last made the playoffs, 9 since they last had a winning season. We're hoping to revert that trend. That being said, we made a lot of moves this offseason. We got rid of some of our bigger name players, particularly Ronan Kopp and Vinny Pasquantino, but we also shedded some salary and created a more sustainable model of team, so we'll just have to see how we do in 2030. Examining our trade and signing report card, the best players we've acquired in this trade by WAR: Joey Ortiz, who's no longer with the team; Ronan Kopp, who's no longer with the team; Vinny Pasquantino, who's no longer with the team. I see Ronan Kopp also injured there to start the season. Josh Mears and DL Hall are our two best acquisitions, and I think they probably represent right now our best starting pitcher and best position player overall. Worst loss was definitely Mason Miller, who went on to be a very productive starter for the Royals, although went back to the closing role in his final year. Although I will point out, we did get Pasquantino in that trade. That is no longer our worst trade by WAR. We still have Spencer Arrighetti from that trade as well. And we moved on from Pasquantino with a year left to get some prospects. Quick preseason glance at our prospects. Juan Bustillos, who I think is our best prospect, will start in Arizona after having a great season in the Dominican, but still in rookie ball. Daniel Arana will start in high A. He has the ratings really for double A or even triple A, but he did badly in high A to start his professional career. So hopefully we can get him up to double A and then maybe triple A by the end of the year. Speaking of double A, Kevin Skeet, our 2028 first rounder, he will start in double A. The ratings have come down some since we drafted him, probably more of a back of the rotation arm, if anything. And Connor Griffin is someone who we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on. He will start in triple A, but he could be pushing to the majors very quickly. Great defensive ratings, just need him to hit a little bit better. Oh yeah, and also Luis Castellanos, just to go back, he's making his debut in full Season A at the age of 20. That gives us, according to the game, the 9th best farm system in Major League Baseball. That includes Bustillos, Castellanos, Arana, and also Mike Drake, who was our second rounder last year. He'll be making his pro debut in the Arizona Complex League at the age of 19. Quick around the league trade news: Brett Beatty is on the Red Sox now. He had a pretty good season with the Mets last year, 34 home runs. Luis Robert Jr. is now a St. Louis Cardinal. He has 2 years remaining on his deal. The Tigers have added Cade Horton for some prospects. I think this is relevant because the Tigers have just had a monster offseason so far. The Tigers also add Colson Montgomery, so let's check in on them actually. Yeah, this is just a really stacked team right now, and I think they actually lost the World Series last year to the Arizona Diamondbacks, if I remember correctly. So they may very well be in contention to win this year. They may be considered the favorites, come to think of it. And yes, they are projected to win 96 games. We are projected to win 69. I think this is one of our least friendly projections in a while. We hope to beat that projection by quite a bit. Grayson Rodriguez, new to the Houston Astros, the projected top pitcher in the American League. Wyatt Langford, the projected top position player in the American League. Projected best team in the National League is going to be the Atlanta Braves. They've made some adds at the trade deadline last year. For example, they added Justin Steele. This guy, Ken Pepin, who I've been keeping an eye on for Colorado, is going to be an absolute monster pitcher for them. So that's great. He'll probably be the best pitcher in franchise history. And then James Wood, your projected top hitter. His ratings are just absolutely ridiculous. It is now opening day. We will face off against the St. Louis Cardinals in some interleague play. They have some great position players like Jordan Walker and Mason Wynn, and also the recently added Luis Robert. And Chase Shores is their ace. He's big on the strikeouts, but also big on the walks. Here's how we will line up. It's definitely a new look for us. Let's get started. We are back in the Coliseum once again. It'll be DL Hall to face Mason Wynn to begin the year. Let's begin the year on a strong note. And that is going to be a single or a double to right field. It's in the corner. Mears has it. And it'll be a leadoff double for Mason Wynn. First pitch of the year. All right. Esteban Miraz, full count, strikes out. Nice job by DL Hall there. Jordan Walker, scary at bat. Maybe should have pitched around him. And he's going to send this one up the middle, just over the head of our second baseman. That is Rafaela. Although a run will not score on it. So Luis Robert, runners on the corners. 2-1 count. We're in trouble early. And Luis Robert hammers this one to center, but it is going to be caught out there by Baker, but the run will score. So 1-0. Let's leave it at that. Nolan Gorman strikes out. All right. 1 run is fine. It's the crooked numbers that'll get you. DL Hall to face Brian Ramos right now. Oh, and Ramos cranks this one. That one may not stay in the park. Yes, that easily clears the fence. 412 feet. The Cardinals lead 2-0. Now facing the lefty Dylan Beavers. It's going to be a soft dribbler to the second baseman Rafaela. Makes the play, 1 away. Joe Adell now. I didn't even notice they had Joe Adell. 1-2. Strikes out. And then Joe Mack, their catcher, on the 1-0. He's also a lefty, and he's going to pop it up. But the Cardinals are going to lead by 2. Back to the top of the order with Mason Wynn here in the top of the third. He hits this one hard to our third baseman. That is a nice play over there by Young. 1 away. That brings up Esteban Miraz. This is a fictional Cuban player, I believe. And he sends one to the gap. Absolutely crushed that one to the gap. And that looks like it's going to be a 1-out double. Jordan Walker now, scary at bat. He's going to hit a grounder to our third baseman, Young. 2 away. And then Luis Robert. 2-2 to Robert. Hits this one. That's going to be another double. We have allowed a run in each of our first 3 innings so far. Not the greatest of starts for DL Hall. A double for Robert. Now facing Nolan Gorman. 3-2 count. Gets the strikeout, but St. Louis now lead 3-0. Chris Newell to lead off. And he's going to hit a single up the middle. That's big. He's trying to win some playing time with us. A lot of people gunning for his spot one way or another. Jesus Guevara, the replacement for Noah Miller in this game. And I believe if that gets through, that's his first major league hit. So there we go. And Newell wants to go to third, and he will be safe. So we get runners on the corners as we flip it over to the top of the lineup with Jace Young. And he will walk. So we now have the bases loaded and no outs. We got to score, I think, at least 2 runs here. That's my feeling. Ethan Petrie, full count, and he will walk. Wow, Chase Shores. We talked about the strikeouts. We talked about the walks. 3-1 now your score. Chris Baker, first pitch swinging. That ball's going to be deep. And it's going to get down. It will get down. Chris Baker. I think that's going to be a double. Will it clear the bases? It will score 2. We've got runners on second and third. We have tied the game at 3. The offense has suddenly come alive here. Josh Mears. He's going to hit this one as center. Will the runner be able to tag is the question. Petrie does tag and score. So 4-3. 4 runs in this inning. Turns it over to Cuvée with just 1 out still. Cuvée hammers this one to center. Oh, maybe didn't hit it as far as I actually thought he did. That was hit hard, a line out, but 2 away. And Jaden Melendez, full count. It's going to ground out to the shortstop win, but we score 4 and suddenly lead after 3 innings. We're going to change it over to Cam Caminiti. I wish it was Chase Shores, actually, because it's the righty up right now, but we do have Gorman up next. So tense situation here. Cam Caminiti making his debut with the A's. 0-2 pitch. And Walker crushes this 0-2 pitch. Wow, very unfortunate to do that, and that count. A double down the right field line. Will it score a run? No. Runners on second and third for Nolan Gorman now. Need Caminiti to lock it in here. Gorman is going to line out to shortstop. Nice play by Guevara. And it's a double play as he also steps on second. So lucky break for us there. And that brings up Brian Ramos. 2-2 pitch. Ramos, it's going to be a pop-up in foul territory. Melendez is there and we get out of it. And then Jaden Melendez on a 3-1 pitch. Walks, so we do get a base runner. 2 outs for Rafaela. Rafaela hammers this one. That's going to be off the top of the wall. I don't know if Melendez will be able to score on this. He is our catcher. And he is coming around with 2 outs. And he is going to score. And Rafaela is going to take third. That is a big insurance run for us. Now leading 5-3. Chris Newell up next. 2-2 pitch from Uribe. Strikes out, but the damage is done. We get another run. But that means it is time for Eric Getty to close things out. Brian Ramos, a 1-1 pitch. Sends this one to center. Pretty lazy fly ball in the end. Baker is camped under it. 1 away. Dylan Beavers, the lefty now. A 1-2 pitch. And that's going to be a single to right. That will bring up the tying run for St. Louis in the form of Joe Adell. Joe Adell. Oh, and he's going to crank this one. That's going to be a double, and we are in trouble all of a sudden with Eric Getty trying to close this game down. Ronan Kopp's replacement. They have runners on second and third. The tying run is in scoring position with 1 out. But it's Eric Getty's inning, I think. And he's going to send it up the middle. Is that going to tie up the game? The runner rounds around third. The play at the plate, he is safe. The Cardinals have scored 2 off of Spencer Arrighetti, and they still have a runner on base with 1 out. And that is going to be, it looks like a double play ball. Nicely done by Guevara, but the damage has been done. The game is tied. We move on to the bottom of the 9th. The dream of the walk-off. Chris Baker up next on a 2-0 pitch. That's going to be to center, and it looks like we will go to extra innings here on opening day. Top 10, runner on second. We will begin with Arrighetti, and the runner will take off, and Wynn takes third. So already in position to score here. Esteban Miraz is going to send this one to left. It's going to stay in the park, but I do think it'll be deep enough to score Wynn. And it will be. That's Newell out there and left. 1 away. That's okay. Jordan Walker sends one to center. 1 run is okay. 2 runs kills you. 1 run is okay. And then it's Luis Robert time. 2-1. To the shortstop, Guevara makes the play. He's had a nice game today. And we move on to the bottom of the 10th, needing at least 1. Well, we can play to manufacture this run, or we can play for the win. I'm going to play for the win. I don't want to play to just keep going on to the 11th necessarily. Josh Mears up, 0-2 pitch, strikes out. Daniel Cuvée, 3-1 pitch. That's a walk, okay. That is the game-winning run. Jaden Melendez now facing off against Jackson Cox, full count. A strike 3. That really hurts. We are down to our last out on opening day here. It's Rafaela, the 1-2. Sends this one to center, but I think that is going to be caught by Robert. And we lose a heartbreaker on opening day, a blown save for Spencer Arrighetti, the replacement for Ronan Kopp, and we will start the season 0-1. Here is your box score. This is what the great Sarah Langs calls a wee. April 1st, we do win our second game of the season, 3-2, but I'm hoping this scouting report is indeed an April Fool's joke because Ramiro Fuentes, who we traded Vinny Pasquantino for, sucks. He sucks. We thought he was good, but he sucks somehow. And then Daniel Arana, who was our first rounder last year, some of the potential ratings coming down as well. April 6th, you'll recall we started 1-11 last year, and so far we are 1-5. I just need to see myself win that second game. It's killing me. We do win at Seattle, 3-1. Okay. April 9th now, it is indeed going to be another rough start for us. Josh Mears, who was our star player last year, is 2 for 33 to start the season. April 18th, we are 7-11. While I was pointing out Joshua Mears' cold start, let me point out Jaden Melendez, who has a 1200 OPS and 219 OPS plus. April 26th, we are 9-16. The run differential honestly makes things look even worse, even more dire. Chris Newell is injured with diagnosis pending, and that's interesting because we've talked about how he had a very tenuous grasp on that left field versus right-handed pitching spot. And if he has an extended injury, that's going to cause an interesting shuffle throughout the team. But the team, it's safe to say, is not doing very well. And how unfortunate that for 7 years now, we have been unlucky. That's what I'm going to call it. Unlucky. Not user error. Unlucky. We do win our 10th game of the season, but it's Chris Newell also with a concussion. That's the exact same thing that Noah Miller is going through. So we lose him to the concussion as well. Do our guys not wear batting helmets? I don't know. But let's make a corresponding move. Jacob Reimer hasn't exactly been killing it. I know it's only 38 plate appearances, but we've had him playing in left field versus left-handed pitching, so I don't think he becomes the full-time left fielder. Vance Honeycutt not really inspiring me either, so we know what the next move is. And it's going to be Connor Griffin. He was our first-round pick in 2024. He was our second-round pick in 2027, and now on April 27th, 2030, he will take over for us at the big league level. He will play center field, kicking Chris Baker over to left. All right, it is May 1st. We are 10-19 already, 7 games back. It's time to sort of rearrange things now that it's been a month into the season, and we're going to start with Gavin Williams, who we just traded for, although luckily the Giants are covering 80% of his contract. He sucks. He's really bad. We have lost every single game he's played, and he's allowed 9 home runs and 6 stars. He's bad. He's bad. It's time for him to get out of the rotation. The only thing we can really do is put him out on waivers. And that means we can bring Eric Segura back into the mix at the big league level. He will join the rotation. May 7th, we are 12-23. That's very bad. Jacob deGrom, ruptured tendon in his finger, a 3-month injury. I don't know if that's good or bad for us because he was pitching in a very low leverage role. It didn't really matter what his ERA was. I know he's been doing poorly, but for him, it really doesn't matter. He's not affecting wins and losses. We just want the credit for signing a Cy Young winner. And if he's on the injured list, I don't know if we'll get that credit or not, but I guess it's good that he's not pitching for us because he's not very good. My low leverage long relief call-up will not be Gavin Williams because he's bad and he stinks. I want Owen Murphy back in the majors. June 1st prospect check-in, we are 21 and 35. Bustillos has started his season in Arizona. Hasn't gone as well as it did in the Dominican. Ratings still look pretty good, although they have come down a little bit. Castellanos in A-ball, 77 OPS plus, but a positive WAR, and he's only 20. But again, the ratings have come down a little bit. Like his power potential is now 75 instead of 80. But I mean, at that point, what difference does it make? In Double-A, Daniel Arana and Chris Greer are both new to Double-A. Chris Greer not doing as well, but he absolutely tore up High A for the first month of the season, and we brought him up. Similar story with Arana. And Arana was our 2029 first rounder, and I just can't help but wonder if we could see him in the big leagues this year. He's going to have to develop some, but we're going to leave him in Double-A for now. Some bad news, Sergio Treviso was my 2028 second rounder. I was actually quite excited about him. Ruptured tendon in his foot, ending his season prematurely, so that's a bummer right there. Anyone in AAA we're talking about? No, we don't even have a prospect in AAA right now. It's all Double-A or lower, with I guess Arana and Greer representing the closest to the big leagues. July 11th, we are 40 and 53. July 11th is draft day, and normally I would save the draft for the second half episode. However, I've noticed due to the duration of some episodes, it might be better to leave the draft in this episode. So we'll finish with the draft. Here are John Fisher's midseason review of my goals. His team record goal was to play 500 ball. We haven't done that. We're 40 and 53. Really, the only thing we've done that we really want him to do was acquire the Cy Young winner in the form of Jacob deGrom. And again, if I just get rid of him once he recovers from this injury, I don't even know if I get credit for that. So, I think our contract expires at the end of this year. I could be up for being terminated, as they say, but hopefully not. As far as the team goes, I would say this is definitely the weirdest and possibly the worst we've trotted out in the 7 years I've been Oakland A's GM. And what's weird about us is that we are 14th in FIP, but we are 3rd in runs against. And that's because our defense, and we've been first in the league before, but not like this. Not like this. Some of these guys are just ridiculous. Jesus Guevara, 69 OPS plus, positive WAR. Connor Griffin, 60 OPS plus, positive WAR. Chris Baker, 80 OPS plus, on pace for 2.5 WAR. These guys are just playing crazy good defense across the board, and that's definitely something I've prioritized, but it means the pitching really isn't as good as the ERAs seem to indicate, which is kind of a bummer. Frank Trejo, for example, I've noticed in terms of his ratings, they've just kind of gone down precipitously. So, I don't really know what to make of this team. I know Somei Shimizu is good, but yeah, Josh Mears even has not been an above average hitter, and yeah, Cuvier's taking a step back. I just don't really know where to go from here. Definitely a couple college bats in particular I like. However, we are picking 15th, so we'll have to wait and see if they're available. The Chicago Cubs will pick first. And with that first pick, the Cubs selected Norm Davis, who is definitely one of those college bats I was keeping an eye on. Really good power potential from a second baseman. For me, it's a very easy pick. I had my eye on Jared Forrest, a collegiate catcher out of the University of California. Look at these defensive ratings. This is a guy who could win multiple Gold Glove awards at the catcher position, and the hitting projections don't look so bad either. Demand of 5.5 is a little under slot for us, so it's a very easy pick for me. My first pick is going to be Mr. Jared Forrest. Second pick is also going to be pretty easy for us. That's going to be Chad Blanco, a shortstop known for his contact and power potential. This is a high school bat with high work ethic, probably best suited at third base in the long run, although maybe second base would be an option as well. We're going to select Chad Blanco. Third round here, our third round pick is going to be similar to our second round pick. It is going to be Sam Cooper, a high school hitter carried by his bat. His infield ratings aren't that great, but I guess you could stick him at second base among all these high intelligence. Sam Cooper, you are in Oakland A. Fourth rounder is going to be a high school pitcher, an Italian-American by the name of Giacobbe Tirico. I like his changeup. I like his 60 home run allowed potential. I like his high work ethic. High school arms have a lot of variance, but we'll just have to see. I'm comfortable with that here in the fourth round. And in the 5th round here, I am going to go with Dakota Ralston. This is a relief pitcher only prospect. He only has 2 pitches. He only has 35 stamina. But on the 2280 scale, he has a 90 stuff potential and high work ethic. He's young, a lot of variance, etc., etc. But here in the 5th round, why not? That was the first 5 rounds of the draft. I will do the rest of it off screen, but I thank you all for watching this episode. I will see you for the second half.